I'm not here to preach any kind of fear. We do not have a spirit of fear. I'm here today to show you and expose the vile tyranny of a world gone absolutely mad. I have some shocking revelations tonight that may move your heart to prepare even faster. I have some hyperdrive fuel that's going to burn, baby, burn tonight. Get ready. This is the Watcher's Prophecy News. Hello, my name is Mars, and I want to welcome everyone here tonight who's tuned in on KDUV Radio, America's best Christian radio station. You know, we have many great shows besides mine here on KDUV, and if you'll go on our website, which you likely are now, scroll down and see the schedule of great shows. KDUV is the leader in fast response Christian education, sermons, and even mind-blowing music. You know, Monday and Friday, if you'll notice, there's Night Watch live with Pastor Keith Harden, 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific, Monday and Friday. Even right before my own show, you can hear Joe Mayo's Christian Rock Show, and I just listen to his music, and it just puts me in the mood to lay it all out, and tonight I am. Dear listeners, it is my contention that the globalists will not stop and do anything to maintain control over the people. They will murder anyone and everyone who gets in their way. Our nation is in a scandal and a high crime. In fact, if you take the current murder rate of Kansas City and crime rate of Hillary, she's winning. Hard to believe, but true. We are being saturated, bombarded, and overwhelmed with this incredible election fraud news, and a nuclear insanity seems to be a cloud that seems to be over our capital and our entire land. We have to put on an extra layer of armor, for the most part, just to have a very thick skin to provide the deep cover needed to see all. But understand, it's obvious now. It's beyond obvious. You understand, in respect to the most demonic plots ever strike our land, period. Even the plots penned for the revolution of the United States, 1776, and those events are statistically tiny fraction of those that the current crisis after crisis with Hillary Clinton. That's right, Hillary. You understand, they say where I'm from, you're in a world of hurt. I'm going to lay this out for you tonight. You are about to be in awe. You find out just how incredibly crooked this woman actually is. Now, I don't think she's going to sue me today, but I think the news here that does expose the truth will be something that most people will find very lightening. And maybe for the few that can change their minds, I would definitely hope that that is true. Federal investigators, now looking into Hillary Clinton email matter, have obtained the warrant, of course, that was needed to start reviewing these emails found on the laptop used by Clinton aide Huma Abedin and her husband Anthony the Weiner. That's his name. I didn't make that up. FBI Director James Connolly told Congress Friday that the agency was again reviewing emails related to Clinton's personal server. Now, let me just stop right here. I had a bunch of this I wanted to get to, but I just want to stop. And I want everyone here to understand that there is a graphic nature to all of this. Evil is not pretty. Some people say they know what the color of evil looks like, that they know what evil sounds like, they know what evil feels like. They know even how evil acts. Tonight, I'm going to expose some things that just now are to the point where the American public must really examine this and make judgments, not with their head, but with their heart. And seek God first. Seek God. Seek Jesus' own understanding in your heart over the things that are going on. They are almost breathtaking now. Sequence of events that are currently being stuck like glue on the American public. I want to share with you too that because all these things that are going down, it is much like a firestorm of biblical proportion, and it just keeps getting worse. We are going to pray for our leaders to make some better decisions. Some of these that I'm about to portray are not very nice. A Senate Democratic leader, Harry Reid, is accusing FBI Director James Comey this week of breaking federal law. Clinton is firing back at the FBI, and folks are resigning there in record numbers. Congress is totally on the divide. The election is being rigged right under our very noses, and the Gog War is about to kick off as Iraqi special forces attempt to take the north of the city and the dam area and are being shelled with chemical weapons, crossing Obama's red line at the beginning of his service for America and now at the end. The world has gone mad like some out-of-control crazy train. Someone has got to step up and put on the brakes now. One example, one email with subject line forward CO, that means she also gets a copy. Hillary Clinton, U.S. interest in the PAC paper 1004 appeared to contain a classified document. It was classified above top secret because of the confidential nature of the nuclear secrets, that was forwarded by Abedin to her personal Yahoo account in October of 2009, and also to Hillary. Now, this is just one of many, but I'm just trying to portray how she is such a risk. This document had come from an aide to Richard Holbrooke, who was special representative for Afghanistan and Pakistan at the time. The issue dealt with Pakistan's nuclear weapons and the fact that they were now in the process of upgrading theirs to highly sophisticated hydrogen weapons with help from the Russian part suppliers. Since this was at the time U.S. intelligence that was gained at a very high military cost, death of 2 more people, by the way. You might as well attribute those to Hillary because their deaths were in vain after she exposed this information. It's just bizarre. The mishandled information, the Russians now have got it. They have it. And that alone explains part of Putin's frustration at Hillary, as Putin has signed off on the deal for Pakistani's effort to get these vital parts. Yeah, just like the Clintons, who basically hand this to the Russians, and again with the I don't know what the C means attitude. Newman Abedin said that she was unaware of the classification of the document and stated that she did not make judgments on the classifications of material that she received. The report states, adding that she relied on the senders to properly mark and transmit sensitive material, but never checked them herself. Didn't know what a C was. Same exact defense of Hillary. You know that was made up. July calmly called Nixon extremely, Clinton, easy how interchangeable that is, called Clinton extremely careless for placing highly classified information on the private server. He suggested that hostile FBI or foreign actors may have access to the email server. Hostile FBI or foreign hostile. So we've got some of the FBI is now hostile. Yeah, and foreign actors. but they were unable at first, and now at first this has changed, to conclusively detail that it was hacked. However, the word for word documents, this will get you, that were hacked by the Russians and giving firsthand to Julian Assange of WikiLeaks that were just posted on Hillary for revenge yesterday. Word for word. Everything compromised. Everything. Everything on that server. Everything in those email accounts. Both Hillary and now Huma. Including her little secret files. We'll get into that in a little bit. Another email chain dated August 16, 2010 shows Huma contained the subject line, "Your Yahoo account." It appears to warn Huma that her Yahoo account had been hacked. Yet she did nothing. Huma did not recall the email, provided that despite the content of the email, she was not sure her email had ever been compromised, the report said. When the FBI showed her that her account had indeed been hacked, she said, well, Hillary told her to use that unsecure account. So not only do we not know what C is, but we'll blame it on Hillary. She's turned. Saudi spy cannot be elected to live with Hillary in the White House as Hillary's little child. And now that Huma has snitched on Hillary and her "if anything happens to me" folder that the FBI has found in Huma's possession, I know and have been told that it contains very, very, very juicy, let's get this, it will definitely be on a epic biblical scale when those things are released. Another email from October 2009 shows Huma involved in communication security procedures for use during travel in Moscow. Now, Huma told investigators the email contained instructions to be followed by Clinton and all the traveling team, that it was a, quote, must read. Now, Huma stated that they used computers that were set up and controlled by the mobile communications team to access their DOS and personal email accounts when they were in Russia, the report said. Questioning indicates to me that investigators were trying to determine if Russian intelligence may have compromised the emails, and they did, and cell phones of Clinton and her entire team of aides, including Huma, during the visit to Russia. This is just mind-blowing. The hoard of secrets that were given away, but she is to be trusted with the future of those same secrets. No way. 1 million phone calls yesterday alone to the White House over this scandal. 1 million phone calls yesterday to the White House over the scandal. Marches planned in 9 cities over the election results. No matter the outcome, police organizing the largest ever task forces in many cities of officers for riots in mainly the strong cities list in the USA we have ever seen to date, ever. While another 550,000 calls a day to almost every congressman and woman. 550,000 more calls a day. Million to the White House. It is on a scale now that no one could have ever predicted, and is almost full-blown chaos, with mutiny in the FBI, mutiny in the CIA, and even on the presidential level, abandonment of the Clintons' fundraiser by the outgoing bummers. Yep, extra off his Christmas list, I'm sure. Don't think they'll be eating Thanksgiving together. And, you follow that with the director of the National Intel barring Hillary from any classified material until the FBI is done, and many more far-reaching things still pending. I understand you can't be president if you can't take the level 1 briefing, so I don't know how they're going to work that out. You have a president that can't know our secrets, so she can't give them away. That's the ultimate in don't ask, don't tell. Even panic right now in the Electoral College as mutiny is rampant there. It's going on even there in the Electoral College. Now, we've got over 162 FIOA requests about her emails and her lies, 190 lawsuits in 31 states, now with 14 in federal court. Her history is so bizarre, and the amount of dollars that are piling up in these court cases is phenomenal. It would blow your mind the amount of money the federal government is spending fighting charges against Hillary in federal court, even as we speak. Now imagine a leader with 3 full times being investigated, 1 time being fired for lying and thwarting the Constitution from a high legal office. I mean, the woman will stoop to anything and do everything she wants, period. She lies, she steals, she even stole the 2-shot gold Derringer that JFK was given that was always kept in the Oval Office desk drawer. Comes from a reliable source. She was made to return that, by the way. When you're made to return something you stole out of the White House Oval Office desk drawer, that's, she's there to steal, folks. It's clear. She has 3 overseas money accounts and 2 overseas gold trusts. She has $70 million from Arab nations that hate us but love her because she will let every muzzy into the United States that wants to come in with complete open borders. Complete. She said this. She said the word complete. Now, what does that mean? Maybe she doesn't understand what the C word means, but she definitely knows that she will completely open the borders. Complete. Inside Secret Service disclosures tell that she's had too many vomit cake years as an alcoholic, as a drug addict, as a criminal. Was her latest selection of lesbian choices, Little Huma, now being looked at as a spy for either Iran or Saudi Arabia. Yes, that even too, being looked at by the FBI. And worse, she's let loose with most of America's most guarded secrets, and now over 700,000 emails, well worth over 20,000 of these top secret documents contain better intel now that the entire world knows about. We don't have any secrets. Hillary gave them all away. She even linked information about her knowledge of the existence of aliens. I'm talking about the outer space kind. Now, you understand, all of this has been hacked by God knows who, and it is insane in the membrane and has a trail of dead bodies behind her that should impress the best assassins in the entire world, in my opinion. Police records, court records, interviews with law enforcement personnel, and other sources have put the lie maker in chief at the very top of the demonic cesspool of tyranny in a million tiny lies that add up to global domination by pure psychosociopathic entity that seems to be possessing her. Want to thank you, dear listeners, for being here on the WPN Tonight, Watchers Prophecy News. You can find us on Facebook under the term Watchers Society. We are an elite think tank of the most dedicated thinkers on the end times ever. Our 20-year-old society is thriving, alive, and blessed. Come see what we do there. Here tonight on KW Radio, we are going to call this the way we see it, and tonight I call it the Clinton Deadpool. So let's get into that. See, they say that absolute power corrupts absolutely. What is that absolute? What would you be willing to do for the power almighty? To be the head of state. To be the wife of a former president and a woman. To break all these other rules. Well, it's mind-boggling. I believe I would vote for Mary Lincoln above her. The Clinton Deadpool keeps growing. And what you're about to hear is a shame. So let's start with number one on the list, James McDougal. You know, the Clintons' convicted Whitewater partner, he died of an apparent heart attack while in solitary confinement. Yet the coroner could not seem to find any preconditions of heart failure or heart distress. He was a key witness in Ken Starr's main investigation. Dead now. Mary Mahoney, a former White House intern, she was murdered in July 97 at the Starbucks coffee shop in Georgetown. Murder happened just after she was to go public with her story of sexual harassment in the White House. Vince Foster, former White House counselor and colleague of Hillary Clinton at the Little Rock's Rose Law Firm, supposedly died of a gunshot wound to the back of the head, and it was ruled a suicide. This was contested 10 times and later squashed, as most evidence from the cold case has simply vanished from the Arkansas State Police evidence locker. Imagine that. Ron Brown, Secretary of Commerce, and former DNC chairman, reported to have died by impact in a plane crash. Pathologists close to the investigation reported that there was a hole in the top of Brown's skull resembling a gunshot wound. At the time of his death, Brown was being investigated and spoke publicly of his willingness to cut deal with the prosecutors. He was going to make a deal. The rest of the people on the plane also died. Collateral damage. Furthermore, at least one eyewitness said someone parachuted from the plane. Go figure. A few days later, the air traffic controller also committed suicide in the same case. And this is one of the 10 mystery killings, and we're going to get to those too. CIA refers to them as cleaning collateral. We're going to get to those as well. Number 5, Victor Razier II. Now, Razier, a major player in the Clinton fundraising organization, died in a private plane crash. You're going to love this. On July of 92. The rudder wires were found to be cut or frayed and broken. Really? Wonder how that happens. Paul Tully, Democratic National Committee political director, found September 92 dead, described by Clinton as a dear friend and trusted advisor. Now remember, all these people are very close to Hillary. She, at many of their own funerals, she would say, oh, they were a dear friend and trusted advisor, just as she did with Paul Tilly. You know, if you had 62 people come up dead right around you in your close inner circle over a span of years, showing her psychopathic, murderous intent on gaining power through any kind of means, the absolute means, as she said, that he was a dear friend and trusted advisor. Now, Tully knew about the drug deals, and it helped the Clintons overseas accounts, open all these accounts, and the campaign resources, according to Clinton's tax returns. He was going to be subpoenaed in the following weeks, and he simply knew too much. Paul Tully, gone. Ed Wiley, Clinton fundraiser, found dead November 93, deep in the woods in Virginia, of a gunshot wound to the back of the head. Ruled a suicide. Ed Wiley died on the same day his wife, Kathleen Wiley, claimed Bill Clinton groped her in the Oval Office in the White House. Ed Wiley was involved in several Clinton fundraising events. She had secretly hired a private investigator to collect evidence of drug money being washed when suddenly Ed was found dead. Also on the mystery list, this is just more and more bizarre, a journalist from the American Free Press, Victor Thorne, has been found dead. He's a journalist from the American Free Press. He was found dead. Now, police reports indicate that he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and his death was ruled as a suicide. He has been a critic of the Clinton family and has a vast amount of knowledge of the couple. He was the author of over 20 books and is best known for his Clinton trilogy work, 3 books, on 3 definitive works that delve deeply into the history of this corrupt power couple, the Clintons, including their sordid scandals, Bill Clinton's sexual assaults of multiple women that had come forward only in the book, and the drug running out of Mena, Arkansas, while Clinton was governor of the state. Clinton called him the most evil man alive. His death, however, was strange, as the gun from the suicide was never found. Amazing. Jerry Parks, head of Clinton's gubernatorial security team in Little Rock, head of her security team, gunned down in his car at a deserted intersection outside Little Rock's park. That you need to look that up. It's going to amaze you. The son said his father was building a dossier on Clinton. He allegedly threatened to reveal all of his information concerning these drug deals. After he died, the files were mysteriously removed from his house. Even his son does not know where these files went. How convenient. John F. Kennedy Jr. Let's get to number 8A. He died in a plane crash, and it was very well-versed pilot. People don't know how well and good a pilot this man really was. And the fact that this plane had just been gone over with fine-tooth comb. Son of John F. Kennedy Jr., died in this plane crash. It happened in 99 when he was running for the very Senate seat that Hillary then took over after his death. How very convenient. See, you got to knock these dominoes out of the way. You got to knock the thump those little green army men and move this little tank here. Yeah. It's all the hash marks of deceit. James Bunch, he died of a gunshot suicide. It was reported that he had a black book of people which contained names of influential people who visited prostitutes in both Texas and Arkansas. James Bunch. Gunshot suicide, prime of his life. His wife said never in a million years. 9A, Pat Maritana, killed in what was a robbery gone wrong apparent. But it told German officials that Clinton had bugged the Reichstag and the Prime Minister's own telephone. He was dead in 3 days after the disclosure. Really? How convenient. But he was a close personal friend. You don't want to be her close personal friend. People, if you vote for this woman, just hang on, there's more. James Wilson. He was found dead in May of 93 from apparent hanging suicide. It was reported to have very close ties to Whitewater. Hillary remarked at the hearing of his death, how tragic, but, quote, we must move on. Boy, doesn't that sound like Benghazi. Number 11, Kathy Ferguson, ex-wife of Arkansas Trooper Danny Ferguson, was found dead in 94 in her living room with a gunshot wound to her head. I love this MO. It was ruled a suicide, even more MO. And though there were several packed suitcases, I wonder, you know what? Somebody ought to do an investigation on all these corners. I think they've been bought and paid off. All these things are suicide. As if she was going somewhere. All her bags were packed. Danny Ferguson was a co-defendant along with Bill Clinton in the Paula Jones lawsuit. Kathy Ferguson was also a possible collaborating witness for Paula Jones and on the list that had evidence, assuredly, that was ready to testify that would have proved their case. Now Kathy Ferguson, she's dead. Really? Don't testify against her. Bill Shelton, Arkansas State Trooper and fiance of Kathy Ferguson, the very same lady above. Critical of the suicide ruling of his fiance, he was found dead in June 94 of a gunshot wound, also ruled as suicide, at the gravesite of his fiance. How very convenient. Sheriff's investigators, however, found unexplained drag marks. No one has reopened the case due to lack of evidence. It's now gone cold. Grandy Bach, attorney for Clinton's friend Dan Lassiter. Now, Dan and Clinton were very good friends, and Grady was the inside man that had gotten to know both of them very well, Grady Bach. He died by jumping out of a window of a tall building in January 94. It was rumored that they had a scheme running, and suddenly Grady decided he wanted out. His client was a convicted drug distributor, by the way, with mob contacts to drugs in 31 cities. Also very close pals with Bill Clinton. They even came to his funeral. How tragic indeed. Florence Martin, accountant and subcontractor for the CIA, was related to the Barry Seal, Mena, Arkansas case. The airport drug smuggling case, everyone remembers. He died of 3 gunshot wounds. Mysteriously, the case has never been solved. It was like they just quit working on it. Susan Coleman, number 15, reportedly had an affair with Clinton when he was Arkansas Attorney General in 2 various admissions. Susan Coleman died of a gunshot wound to the back of the head. But it too, this is the 4th time, ruled a suicide. She was pregnant at the time of her death. Yep, shot in the back of the head, and they called that a suicide. And a drop of her blood on the front doorknob, but that evidence disappeared the day before the inquest in the grand jury, so it was dropped. Imagine that. Imagine who was governor. Paula Gruber, number 16, Clinton's speech interpreter. That's right. Clinton had a speech interpreter named Paula Gruber, and she did this death sign language thing from 78 until her death in 92. She died in a one-car accident, but she was, because of her top secret security clearance, privy to some information. It was disclosed in 93 about Bill's drug running through her family, who have always reached out in questions to the press and everyone else. No one cared that Paula Gruber was dead. Yep. Danny Castellarato, investigative reporter, investigating Mena Airport and Arkansas Development Finance Authority. He slit both of his wrists, not one, but both. Apparently in the middle of his own investigation. By the way, his investigation notes, they were never found. I'm sorry, Danny Castellarato. That's the way the Clintons operate. Number 18, Paul Witchler. Paul Witchler, attorney investigating corruption at Mena Airport with Castellarato in 1980. October surprise, he was found dead on a toilet June 22nd, 93 in his Washington, D.C. apartment. He had just delivered a report to Janet Reno 3 weeks before his death concerning the flying and routing of drugs tied to Bill Clinton. Really? So that's 3 right there in the Mena deal that were all killed, likely by the same set of assassins. John Parnell Walker, Whitewater investigator for Resolution Trust Corporation. John Parnell Walker. He jumped to his death from his Arlington, Virginia apartment balcony August 15th, 93. He was investigating the Morgan Guarantee scandal. He just come up dead. Boop. The only one doing it, but, it was against Clinton. Bye-bye, John Parnell Walker. Barbara Wise, number 20, Commerce Department staffer, close friend of Hillary Clinton, worked closely with Ron Brown and John Huang. Cause of death, unknown. They don't even know what killed this woman. She just, whoop! She died in November 29, 96. Her bruised, naked body, but that wasn't what the coroner said killed her, was found locked in her office at the Department of Commerce like she had been beaten for information. No details of that case were ever released. Just disappeared, Barbara Wise. Charles Messenger. He was the Secretary of Commerce who gave John Huang special security clearance. He died shortly thereafter in a small plane crash. Got to tie up all the loose ends. That was number 21. Charles Messenger, he didn't understand that he knew too much. Number 22, Dr. Stanley Hurd. He was chairman of the National Chiropractic Healthcare Advisory Committee, and he died with his attorney Steve Dixon on a small plane crash. Dr. Hurd, in addition to serving on Clinton's advisory council and knew her personally, he also treated Bill Clinton's mother, stepfather, and brother medically. Died in a small plane crash because he knew too much. Barry Seal, drug running TWA pilot out of Mena, Arkansas. His death was no accident. 2 days after, Barry's son was also shot in the head. Now, how can that be? Just father and son both within 2 days? Come on now. There's something tied together there. The police to this day have no clues, but the drug-sniffing dogs used by the police hit on the plane as Barry was a pilot who was smuggling drugs for the Clintons. Over 10 close people who knew Barry was also drinking and bragged to many, too many, about what things he was doing for the Clintons. He had to go. Bye-bye, Barry. Jonathan Longhorn, Jr., he was a mechanic, found a check made out to Bill Clinton in the trunk of a car left at his repair shop. He was found dead after his car hit a utility pole the next day. This check had far-reaching implications when you knew the name that it was addressed to. His brake lines had been cut through and through. Pictures of the evidence 1 week later, the eyewitness testified, were there in the evidence locker, vanished, and the case is now ice cold. Jerry Lawthorne Jr., the mechanic of Bill Clinton. You see this pattern? These people that are all around them? Stanley Higgins, number 25, investigated Madison Guaranty, close friend of Bill Clinton. His death was a purported suicide. They were golf buddies, and his report was never released. Family said he was shot clearly in the back of the head. MO number 5. Number 26, Herschel Friday, attorney and Bill Clinton fundraiser. He died. Notice these fundraisers, if the money comes from his washing drugs through them back in his foundation and fundraising campaigns, that's all now clean money, and Herschel Friday helped. He was an attorney, and on March 1st, 94, he died when his plane exploded. FAA investigators ruled that C4 was likely in the explosion as cause, and evermore, his death the next day when detectives come to examine it had been cleanly and neatly sanitized, and all the things related to Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton removed. Being that he was working on some 100 various fundraisers, all of Bill Clinton's at one time, and yet there were no traces of anything related to Bill and Hillary on his desk. All traces of these were removed, and they were not able to be located by the police. Now we've got 27 and 28. These happened about the same time. Kevin Ives and Don Henry, known as the Boys on the Track case. Reports say the boys had stumbled across the Mena, Arkansas airport drug operation. A controversial case indeed. The initial report of death said due to falling asleep on the railroad tracks. Later reports claim the two boys had been slain before being placed on the tracks. Many link the case died before their testimony could come up for grand jury, marking 3 more people in that case alone, the Kevin Ives and Don Henry case, that all come up dead because it was all tied to the Bill Clinton, Mena, Arkansas airport drug operation. By the way, needle marks on one of those two boys' neck suggested he was not just asleep. Yep, she's piling up bodies left and right. Now, the following persons had information on the Ives Henry case. Let me get to those. Okay, and this case was shocking because the things that they had seen, and likely they were local drug runners that had come to pick up a load. Keith Comley died when his motorcycle slammed into the back of a truck the next day. On 788, his brake lines were also cut. Keith McCaskill died, stabbed 113 times, November of 88, 4 weeks later, or 4 months later. Gregory Collins died from a gunshot wound, January of 98. Coroner said Gregory Collins that the angle was so odd that if it was a suicide, it would have been from a left-handed man standing on his head. That's right. That was in the coroner's report. Remember, all these were drug runners that were in the car at the time of the first drug run. Later, 2 of them found on the track dead. Now, Jeff Rhodes, he was shot the next day as well. Motivated young man, but had gotten heavily into the selling of drugs. He was mutilated and found burned in a trash dump in April of 98. The FBI knew he was involved in transporting drugs and money out of Mena, Arkansas. It's very deep, folks. You see how they initially started their criminal enterprise was all about drugs. They built up this drug empire, and that money went directly into their coffers, their political gains, spoils funds. James Milan, he was found decapitated. However, the coroner ruled his death was due to natural causes. James Milan. Although Clinton himself had to sign off on suicide, a first to override a coroner for an Arkansas governor. James Milan. In the Mena, Arkansas drug case. Really? But you wonder why he was investigated. You know, why he might be a little bit corrupt. Richard Winters, a suspect. This gets better and better, folks. Just stay tuned. You're not going to believe what's coming. Richard Winters, a suspect in the Ives Henry death. He was killed in a set-up robbery in July of '89. All that was missing was a book containing locations the FBI knew contained information on drug money and overseas accounts. They had seen this book 4 times using Mose and had observed him with this book. These people were very close to Richard, yet after his death, the book became conveniently missing. Now, they believe that this book was related to the drug distributors of the Clinton drug running operation in Mena. Then you've got to move out and then move back in when you get away from just all these close friends and business dealings and drug dealings and all these other people that have been killed. We get to number 35 and you start seeing that even the people closest to her and him come up dead. Following Clinton bodyguards, these people are also gone. Major William S. Barkley Jr., Captain John J. Reynolds, Sergeant Brian Hanley, who they later said was poisoned to death with cyanide. Police have a lid on this case. No one knows why, and disinformation about that case has spread far and wide. Sergeant Brian Hanley was very closely involved in managing Hillary. Very closely involved. You don't want to be that close to her. She's a demon and it might rub off on you. And you're going to vote for this woman. Number 38, Sergeant Tim Sabell, bodyguard to Bill. 39, Major General William Robertson. Number 40, Colonel William Desberger. Number 41, Colonel Robert Kelly. Number 42, Specialist Gary Rhodes. Gary Rhodes, by the way, is likely to have overheard details of Clinton's drug operation or was key in transferring large sums of money. It's currently being speculated in one of the former FBI investigation papers that were linked. Number 43, Steve Willis, close friend of Hillary, bodyguard. They were close because they worked together every day. Bill Clinton's own 3, Steve Wiltis, Robert Williams, and Conray LeBleu. All 3 of these were bodyguard for Clinton, Bill, and Hillary. The ATF agent Robert Williams of Clinton's former hometown, Little Rock, Arkansas, was among the lawmen slain in the gun battle with members of the David Koresh cult there in Waco. During the 92 campaign, if I remember, Williams was assigned to a Clinton jump team. Now, Williams, one of these close-in bodyguards of the Clintons, and he was rotated to this jump team that provided Clinton security on a rotating 28-day shifts, said the ATF spokesperson Jack Kilgorian that I've had email correspondence with about some of these people's death. The other 3 ATF agents that were killed in Waco were Todd McLean and Conway LeBleu, both out of New Orleans, and Steve Wiltis of Houston. It's amazing that at Waco, the 3 officers killed were all bodyguards of Bill and Hillary. This just keeps getting deeper. Kilgorian said that 4 other ATF agents who served for Clinton jump teams were among the 16 agents that were then wounded in Waco. Roland Ballestras and John Reisenhover, both of Houston, Stephen Steele and Sam Cohen, both of Dallas. What is amazing, the coroner said that Robert Williams was shot at close range with a weapon that was not found in the compound, a HK-93 with a steel cop killer bullet. David Koresh didn't have any of those. In fact, all 4 were shot. They died around February 28th, 93. And perhaps these people, in my mind, were executed by the knowing assault that was coming upon them in the gunfire there at Waco. The massive assault, everyone remembers that, the Branch Davidians. The findings of all 4 were examined by a private doctor later. Now, this is the kicker. And they died from nearly identical gunshot wounds to the left temple. So-called execution style. According to Linda Thompson, videotapes and other evidence of this autopsies indicate that none died from guns fired by Branch Davidians. Now, isn't that lovely? But Bill Clinton knew them all. They were all close friends. Bodyguards. Later, it's come out during a discussion on Bill O'Reilly. Now, this is going to be shocking. This may shock you right here. This is how corrupt these people are. During a discussion on Bill O'Reilly about Bill Clinton's recent attempt to compare the Tea Party movement to the impact of conservative talk radio, shows like Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, even my own, as having caused Timothy McVeigh to bomb the Oklahoma federal building. Yes, I was doing radio at that time. Dick Moore suggested that Bill O'Reilly should zipper it because Clinton had indicated that this is the first time that he has ever divulged any comment by Bill O'Reilly, that had to renominate, this is the kicker, had to renominate Janet Reno for another term as Attorney General, or she would go public about the bullets involved in the dead officers and the killings of these bodyguards that were definitely not on the plate. Sent there to die. Sent there to die. These folks are evil. Who would want to even vote for them? Who would want them to run our nation? Number 46, Tom McLean, and the most recent Seth Rich of the DNC staffer, Seth Rich. The DNC staffer was murdered and robbed of nothing on July 10th this year. WikiLeaks founder Assange claims that he had info on the DNC email scandal, information about this current email scandal, found in his car with many bullet holes in him from several different directions. But it was a robbery gone bad. Yeah, it's the way it always is with them. It's something gone bad. Not included on this list are 4 more men that were killed in Benghazi. Everyone knows about that. Making 50 on the mystery list that we know about so far, and totally confirmed. There are about 13 more, however, that are still mysteries. It is now total donated some $256 million to this evil woman by OPEC nations. Every last one of these OPEC nations donated to this woman, and you wonder why she will love to bring in the fanners of muzzy hatred to your very shores in a grand act of subversion and treason that no president and wife team has ever been investigated so much for so much wrongdoing in the very history of our planet. This is insane. And people are just, yeah, vote for Hillary. They have no idea the evil they are doing. She's going to appoint justices to overturn the Second Amendment and make executive orders that will allow the UN under strong cities to take people's guns. She stated the first order would be to instruct the strong cities and National Guard to back them up, to go door to door first and foremost, to collect guns belonging to anyone deemed unstable, have them arrested and detained, and put where? Then the process of going door to door, since U.S. troops will only play a limited role in this, she will transcript these UN flunkies, strong cities, who have already passed bills to disarm us, make it illegal for us already to own a gun. She would be happy to send troops with our troops backing them up. She's made that clear. She's for NAFTA, TAFTA, PNARP, as well as a myriad of other hostile, engaging treaties. She wants the creation of the Amero for use as coin in our open borders policy. Walk in! You can get some free government cheese. She wants to place some 3 million more Syrians and other Muzzies in the nation and enact Stage 4 of NAFTA and the North American Union, as she stated she will do, and open all borders for anyone to cross, utilizing Mexico and Canada, making walkways, and they will come. She will make all dependent on the government for all things. She'll have to with that many refugees. Through its regulations, so they can, of course, tax all things. Money is all she knows about. She is the root of money, and money is the root of her corruption. All I know is that I believe that she is also gay. She might even be having sex with one of the Muzzy Iranian members of the Muzzy Brotherhood, the inner circle. I do mean Huma Abedin. And I mean that I believe she is deeply in bed with him as a spy. It too makes Bill's own sins pale in comparison when you see how she has compromised our national secrets. That she will make draconian changes to the tax laws and gas taxes, wiping them out as she did in Arkansas and nationally as Bill did in the White House. Remember what gas was right before Bill Clinton? Go look it up. She will contrive herself into war with Russia as she wants to. Her neocon pals will help her in that row, no doubt. She has already stated 15 times for the record that we need to battle communism on their ground while she embraces socialism here. That she will make sure that she becomes king. She told even jokingly Dick Cheney once that one day she would be king. February of 2000, in fact. She said that once the American public were disarmed, FEMA camps would be used for government discerners, much the way all other socialist nations use their own lockups for that, and then America would be a much safer place. Even wanting to put people on the no-fly zone into FEMA camps. That's right. It was in her WikiLeaks email! That she will also hasten a war with Iran and fully wants to bomb them. She stated that 117 times to date. Bomb, 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 Iran! It's all coming to a head. We are at a critical crossroads. If you vote for this woman, you are voting for World War III, in my opinion. Now, I've got some updates on Bret Baier's bombshell on Fox News versus the Clintons that proves she is a crook. Don't hold your breath, but check this out. Fox News channel Bret Baier reports the latest news about the Clinton Foundation investigation from two sources deep inside the FBI. It reveals 5 important new pieces of information that you didn't know anything about. One, that the Clinton Foundation investigation is far more expansive than anyone has reported so far, and it has been going on for more than a year, and now is not stopping for anyone or anything. They're digging. Laptops of Clinton aides, Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson, have not been destroyed. as was previously thought, and agents are currently combing through them. The investigation has intertwined several people twice and plans to interview some for a third time. Agents have found emails believed to have originated on Hillary Clinton's secret server on Anthony Weiner's laptop. They say the emails were classified and are not duplicates, and if so classified, felonious treason. That's right. We'll just hand you a secret here. Here's one, Weiner. Here's a secret. There's a secret. Here's a murder. There's a stabbing. There's a gunshot in the back of the head. Sources within the FBI have told him that an indictment is likely and that the case for pay-to-play at the Clinton Foundation, barring some obstruction in some kind of other way from the Justice Department, is likely. Indictment is likely. FBI sources also say that 99% accuracy that Hillary Clinton's server has for sure been hacked at least by 5 or more foreign intelligence agencies, 5 or more, 99% chance, and that information had been taken from it. They didn't even have to do that. She's handing people secrets. But you can trust her at 3 a.m. Oh, it's insane. Ladies and gentlemen, please pray for our leaders, pray for our country, pray for our nation. Watch the news, read your Bible, learn a little bit about Bible prophecy, and see what you can do every day to make sure your neighbor is treated as self. My name is Mars of the Watchers Society, and I will return with more epic information for your mind.